I swear to God, I want to talk about other stuff, but Nintendo has once again proven that they aren't even shy about their shady bullshit business tactics and how corrupt they're becoming as a company and how much they do not give a shit about you, the consumer. Because, one, I got on this morning, I got on my computer this morning, and before stream, I recorded a video that was talking about Valve and comparing some of the stuff that Valve is doing to some of the stuff that Nintendo is doing. And I thought, great, this is something that I could talk about. And I wasn't really comparing it to what Nintendo's doing, but I did make the comparisons. Like, this is another company I can talk about. This is another topic I can talk about and add something that's not directly Nintendo related to it. And then I found out about what Nintendo did. Because Nintendo has recently updated their end user license agreement. And what does that update mean? That update means that Nintendo can now, for the way it's worded, really any reason they decide to, or without premeditatively before you do anything wrong, can brick your Nintendo devices. They have put into their EULA, their end user license agreement, that they can just send you an update, force whatever, and brick your device so that you will not be able to use it at all. And I don't mean that you cannot use the Nintendo like online services where they're like, okay, you're doing shady stuff and you're no longer allowed to use it. From what it seems like, from the wording seems like, they can just disable your console. You can pay, how much does a Switch cost now? $450. The Switch 2 is priced at $450. You can buy a Switch 2. You can get it and own it and it be yours. And if Nintendo decides they don't like the way that you're using it, they can just send out a little signal and that device no longer works, at least according to the EULA. And very specifically, here's what the update was. The update was, I saw a first report. I hopped into like Pirate Software's stream like right at the ass end of it and heard kind of this, but had no idea what they were talking about. And then I saw, so I Googled like Nintendo thing because I thought, oh, is this a new thing about this? I was like, is he talking about the patent stuff that I've been talking about? That's awesome. That might help get the petition going further. If he's talking about it now and then people are searching the thing, they might see the petition, they might sign the petition. Awesome. So I Googled it. Nope. Nintendo warns that it can breach Switch consoles if it detects hacking, piracy. Now, that seems like, okay, maybe, whatever. One, no, not maybe, whatever, but it adds, the EULA adds new language that says Nintendo could render the Nintendo account services and or the applicable Nintendo device permanently unusable in whole or in part. Meaning not only can they delete your account, which kind of makes sense. I'm not against when companies do that. If like Steam is finding out that, or if Steam or Battle.net or whoever is finding out that someone is hacking a lot, they are disrupting gameplay, they are, pirating games and they're somehow getting onto their accounts and they're basically committing a crime because they are stealing a product or they are just, cheating at a game and it's making like, if you're on World of Warcraft and you're cheating and they disable your account, they delete your account, they remove your account, they ban your account and say, listen, you fucked up. You lose this account. Everything you got on all the achievements you got, if you bought special stuff on it, you lose that because you broke the EULA. You broke the terms of service because you were cheating or because you were pirating. Cool. This is just straight up. Listen, hey, you cheat. You pirated some games. You stole $50 from us. So we're bricking your $450 device. And then that adds on to that. What's going to happen there with someone does that, someone's pirating a game, someone's doing whatever, someone's hacking in a game, and they decide they're going to take the route of not banning your account, but bricking your device. And then you're just like, hey, I just got this new Nintendo Switch 2, but my grandma got me one for Christmas, or my grandma got me one for my birthday, so I'm going to sell it online. And now they've sold it online to some poor fucking kid who now has a brick Nintendo device that's not going to work because I really doubt the way Nintendo's acting lately. I doubt that their customer service is going to be like, oh, let me go unbrick that device for you. Yeah, you clearly got scammed. They're probably going to be like, no, fuck you, buy it again. Because that seems to be their goddamn mentality about this stuff is screw the customer. I don't know how legal this is in the United States, or I think the EU also has. I talked about this earlier in my other video. The EU has right to repair laws. Later in the same ELA, Nintendo adds new language clarifying that it reserves the right to suspend your access to any or all Nintendo account services in our sole discretion and without prior notice to you. So you can just get on your console one day, you can get on your Switch one day and find out that it's not working anymore. And you might not have done anything wrong to deserve that, because the next part of that says that they can have, if Nintendo has a reasonable belief such a violation will occur, or as we otherwise determine to be reasonably necessary for legal, technical, or commercial reasons, such as to prevent harm to other users or the Nintendo account services. For commercial reasons, seems like they could be like, hey, listen, we're not selling enough Switches, so we're going to need to brick everyone so they can buy another one. Probably not what they're going to do, because goddamn, the lawsuit would be fucking insane. But if they believe such a violation will occur, they can premeditatively brick your console before you've done anything wrong because they think you might. If you get into an online chat and jokingly say, man, this game's getting so expensive, I'm just going to pirate it, boom, your console's bricked. You lost $450 plus your account, so whatever other games you bought on that account, gone. Fuck you. That is Nintendo's stance right now, and it is insane that they... One, I don't know how this stands up to United States law at the very least, or EU law. Because, again, one, there's right to repair laws, which I'll get to that later on. But two, you own a device. One, there's already been laws, there's already been legislations passed that say, like, iPhone, Apple cannot, because they were for a while, they were intentionally releasing updates that slowed down the processing of older Apple devices because they wanted to sell new Apple devices. So if you had like an old iPhone, your device would be artificially slowed down to encourage you to buy a new one. And legislation was passed that said they legally cannot do that. They're not allowed to do that. You get the device that you paid for, and they can't artificially make the device worse because they want you to buy it again. But then it goes further. What's counting as a violation? The EULA now specifically calls out obtaining, installing, or using any unauthorized copies of Nintendo account services, which would be the kind of like third-party games or pirated games. So if you manage to get a pirated copy of a game and it's not official, they can count that. And here's the thing: I would be fine if they said, listen, if you're downloading pirated copies of games, if you're using illegal game keys, if you're using some sort of like tricky method to get the game for free illegally, which is effectively stealing, conversion, whatever you want to call it, then we're going to delete your account, or we're going to suspend your account or ban your account or whatever, so that you're getting punished for that. I'm okay with that. I'm actually really okay with that, because you are not entitled to that product. You are not entitled to something for free just because you want it and just because it's digital. People put money into making that. Developers, studios put money into developing it. They need to get that money back, because if they don't get that money back and they start losing, if everyone just decided they're going to pirate every game and no one's buying games anymore, then the companies will go out of business and they will no longer be making games. Ultimately, people deserve to get paid for their work, for their labor. It's like this. It's the same thing as pay your fucking artists. Like if you're getting an artist to do something, don't do it for exposure. Don't let them do it for exposure. Pay them for their work. So I'm fine with them punishing people for pirating games, but they also restrict the right to modify, adapt, translate, reverse engineer, decompile, or disassemble all or any portion of the Nintendo account services, as well as the ability to bypass, modify, decrypt, defeat, tamper with, or otherwise circumvent any of the functions or protections of the Nintendo account services, including through the use of any hardware or software. To me, that seems like it's going to get really quickly into the concept of right to repair, because any sort of modifying, adapting, reverse engineering, decompiling, disassembling, or bypass, modify, decrypt, defeat, tamper with, any of that sort of stuff, if you do anything to your device, they can use that as an excuse to brick your device and ban your account. And again, it's one thing if they say you can't access Nintendo account services anymore, so you could still use the games you have that you have like a hard copy of, but you just can't do any of the online stuff. You have to make a new account. You have to do this. You lose all that. Fine, but they're going to brick your device if you do anything to it, which falls really hard against right to repair laws, as has already been established, has been established with iPhone or Apple. Apple lost in that case because they used to have it set that you could not go to anyone that was not an authorized Apple repair store to get your iPhone repaired, and they did that because then they had to sell the special tools to do that, and they had to sell the licenses to do that, and then they were getting a little bit of money, a little bit of kickback because of that. And laws passed that said, no, if you buy a product, you own the product. A company cannot tell you that you are not allowed to repair that product or modify that product in any way. And again, if it's stealing shit, fine. But this is literally them just going even farther out of their way to prove that they do not give a shit about the law. They do not give a shit about the legal system. They do not give a shit about their customers, because they are going to do whatever the fuck they can to make sure their customers get as little as possible and can do as little as possible with the products they buy, and they can take it away from them for literally any reason. The fact that they're saying they can do it preemptively if they assume something is going to happen, and they can do it for any reason that they feel necessary for, what was the verbiage there? At their sole discretion, without prior notice, and for, where was it? A reasonable least such a violation will occur, or as we otherwise determine to be reasonably necessary for legal, technical, or commercial reasons. They can just decide, the technical reason is because we released a new Switch that's better, and the games are going to work better on it, and we want people to buy it, so we're going to get rid of it. Or the commercial reason of, we want to sell more. That term right there, commercial reason. I doubt that would pass any legal muster, but they've shown that they don't give a shit about passing legal muster, because for commercial reasons, having it for commercial reasons, for reasons of we want to make more money, is ridiculous, is insane to me. I swear to God, I don't want to only talk about Nintendo. I want to cover more topics. If anyone who reaches this point in the video has more ideas for things they would like to hear me talk about or research, or just want to hear me rant about, because I am enjoyable to listen to rant, apparently. Like that's what one of the guys in my stream chat is always saying he's here for, is just waiting for me to go on another rant. Please let me know. I would, like, if it's something I'm missing, because I'm not great at keeping up with current events. Let me know. As long as it's not political, I'll tackle it. But it just seems like Nintendo keeps doing shady stuff and not giving a shit. Like with the patent stuff, and then with this now. So, one, if you haven't seen all the patent stuff, I'll link I always forget which way to point. I'll link the playlist for that, for all the Nintendo controversies related to their patent infringement lawsuit with Power World and how ridiculous it is over there, as well as the petition that I started, the change.org petition I started to try it's stop the abusive misuse of patent law by video game developers. Basically, the goal of the petition is to get video game developers to no longer be able to patent game mechanics, because a lot of these patents I read in one of the videos, I just read like 15 or 20 different video game patents, and go over them and try to explain why I think they're stupid, from at least my understanding. Ultimately, the goal is to stop video game developers, to reach legislators and get them to change patent law so that video game developers cannot patent game mechanics in a broad and general sense, because that is hurting the game making studio. And then companies like Nintendo are using it to bully the game making studio. That's hurting the game making community and the gaming community. And then companies like Nintendo are using them to bully small studios out of existence. They're trying to stop them from being able to create anything, because technically this infringes on a patent that technically they shouldn't even have. That becomes a whole complicated conversation of, should they even legally be allowed to have the patent with the way patent law works right now, and then should they morally be allowed to patent something like that. But that's going to be over there. The playlist for that's going to be over there, and the link for the change.org position is going to be over there. So please sign that. Tell me what you think in the comments, if there's anything else you want me to cover. and have a nice day. I'm furious.